you, actually, if you don't mind. I don't mean to be rude, but would you mind if I record this telephone talk?
No, of course not. We do record the calls, and the recordings are available upon request.
Thank you. It's regarding a neighbour that's causing trouble for me, exclusively picking on me, and it's affecting my civil rights.
Right, okay, what's your address?
Yeah, sure, let me give you that, just a second. Yeah, it's my birthday tomorrow, actually, 15th September.
Happy birthday for tomorrow.
That's kind of you to say.
Okay, so you're having issues with a neighbour?
Yes, the neighbour below me has done this to me quite a lot. She's reported me before for laughing at 7 o'clock in the morning, which is totally unreasonable. She's reported me before for all sorts of strange things. Today I had a visitor knock on my door regarding this neighbour that she's thriving on accusations, apparently. They knocked on the door and said she reported me for my rabbit's blankets and pillows that are being shaken onto her balcony, which is untrue. I don't shake the blankets or pillows that my rabbit pees on. It's a rabbit, it's not a dog. So they do have a litter, but they are trying to be trained. They're little mini dwarf. It's a dwarf little one, and so it's such a disinformation and a type of a domestic abuse on me. Because now this information has reached 2 people who knocked on my door, who questioned and scrutinized me and said, "Why are you shaking the blanket or a rug or the rabbit poo down into her balcony, and the wind is blowing it down there?" And it's extremely impolite, because I can't help if the wind had blown a little bit of poop down into her thing. But it's very, very, very much a disinformation, disingenuous.
Right, okay. And do you know what number the resident's at?
I don't, because I mind my own business, but she's always putting her nose into my business and accusing me at every opportunity she has, which is a domestic abuse. It should be illegal that she should report me like that without speaking to me first, right?
Yeah, absolutely. What I'll do is these reports would have gone to the neighbourhood officer.
Do you have his name, please? Can you find out who it was that visited me? It was a man and a woman, an Indian man and a woman, blonde woman. I didn't ask for their name. I didn't ask for their name. I just responded and said, "What do you want?" I wasn't expecting anybody. It was an unannounced visit, and I said, "What do you want?" I wasn't expecting anybody, and they said that the neighbour had made a ongoing complaint. There's an ongoing complaint, so I don't have a complaint reference number. They didn't tell me what their names were, and they just left me and said that they would take my word for it. So can you find out what the reference is and who the people were that saw me today?
I think the people who saw you were Jay and Siobhan.
Who?
Jay and Siobhan.
The Indian man was Jay?
Yes, yeah.
And the woman is Siobhan?
Yes, that's right, yes.
So, to a great extent, it's an emotional abuse on me, and it's an abuse of professional power. Can you please make a note as to how I am, what I'm going through as a result?
Yeah, of course.
Of this long-winded complaint that I don't even have a reference number to.
I don't think it hasn't been raised as a complaint.
Well, he told me it was a complaint. He said there were quote unquote ongoing complaints from your neighbour below that you're throwing rubbish down from your the litter from your rabbit. And I said, I don't have sand. I don't have a cat litter because it's too heavy, or sand. Sand tray. I just use the blanket and then I throw away the blanket. So they poo and pee in the blanket because it's not a cat or a dog. And I don't put dirty blankets that have been peed on, unless it's a tiny little patch of it. But if like from brand new. But I don't shake it down or anything like. I don't ever put anything dirty on my balcony rail, which is a disinformation. What does she think I am, a mad woman?
Right, okay. Do you want me to get Jay or Siobhan to contact you to discuss this?
She's actually out on meetings at the moment, isn't she? It's my, as I say, it's my birthday tomorrow, and I've got other things important to do. I don't want her to contact me to answer your question, unless it's absolutely necessary. She can call my landline. You have my landline, the one ending 411. Can you please check?
Yes, bear with me. Yes, ending in 411. Yes, we've got
Yes.
that, yeah.
So can you ask Siobhan to call me this time next week on my landline, so that we can further discuss this issue and close down the complaint? As I don't want to leave it. I don't want to leave it because it may come back to bite me on the bum. It's vicious. It's so vicious. It's horrible.
I'll get that message across to her for you, no problem at all.
So today date. Can you just say Thursday or Friday? If she can ring, she can ring me on my landline next week, so that we can mention that I'd want to close down the complaint and resolve the issue. And also, can you open a second? Can you also tell her that you're opening a complaint, that you are opening a complaint regarding my neighbour below? That I think she's antisocial.
Okay, no problem. I can add that to it, no problem. I'll get that across to Siobhan and Jay for you.
Okay. So are you ready to open the complaint and provide me a reference number?
I won't be able to provide you a reference number, but I'll be able to open the complaint for you.
Yes, so that we can simplify this, because it sounds ever so complicated. And they're also discriminating against my disability. Sort of to knock on my door and tell me to pick it up now, as if he's some type of a slave master, which is disgusting.
Right, absolutely. So do you want to, how do you want to do this? Do you want to log that separately, or do you want to speak with Siobhan and Jay about it? Because
we do it separately. So in addition to what they're dealing with, the neighbour, you're doing it from my perspective, because at the moment it is only one-sided. Okay. So it's a separate complaint. I mean, I haven't made a complaint about her before. It's always her that's made a complaint about me.
Right, okay. So you believe that she's discriminating against you?
Pardon?
You believe that she's discriminating against you because of your disability?
Yeah, and it's psychological abuse. So she's connected to Thrive Homes instantly, with probably she's using the internet, but I'm not using the internet regarding my housing. And it's a very nosy, nasty neighbour. And it's unfair treatment on me.
Okay. I'll allocate that to Jay for you, because he's actually the neighbour.
Yeah, no, don't say anything more to the people that visited me. Don't say anything else to them regarding this matter, because we're doing a separate complaint, aren't we?
Yes, but they're the people that would deal with it.
Yeah, that's fine, but as long as they're told that it is separate.
Right, okay. Yeah, no problem at all. I'll do two for you. That's absolutely no worries.
So when you're ready, I'm going to tell you my perspective on matters.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so don't say anything about me don't mention me telling you that she's a nasty, nosy neighbour. Don't mention that.
Okay.
Delete that.
Okay, I haven't got that. That's fine.
Okay, so I would say it is, number one, it is politically driven. because it is about the homeowner versus the non-homeowner. So it's politically driven. So she automatically has more rights to break my civil rights. She has no right to report me to Thrive Homes. So it's politically driven. And you can put i.e. breaking my basic civil rights, i.e. or example, breaking my basic civil rights. That's why it's politically driven, because, and it's all, because normally if you have a neighbour and they have an issue with you, they would speak to you first. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So that's point one. She didn't speak to me first. She went and reported me as if I was deranged or mad, or I would do something that is not normal, which is abuse. So, which brings me to point number two. Are you ready for point number two?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's emotional. It's extreme emotional abuse. You can use the word emotional or psychological abuse, because he said you need to pick it up now. He said, quote, "You need to get rid of it now because she's been complaining for a long time about your rabbit poo going down into her balcony." So it's extreme psychological or emotional abuse.
Okay, right, I've got that.
So can you explain to me when you have put on going back to note one, going back to note one, what did you put so far about politically driven?
I didn't put anything on note one about that. On the second one, I've just put, bear with me, let me get that one back up.
You can put psychological or emotional abuse.
Yeah, I put politically driven homeowner versus tenant. Didn't speak with the resident before complaining, and emotional abuse.
No, emotional abuse is second point. We're still on the so looking at regarding the title or the subject matter, politically driven or motivated, is that I am sort of a marginalised individual or independent woman who is marginalised in the community. So that's why she's targeting me for this abuse. I'm her target. That's what I mean. Yes, please. That's what I mean by politically motivated. She's looking for me to lose my home by writing false reports about me, which is distressing. I think she wants me to go homeless or something like that. I mean, I haven't broken any tenancy agreement, have I? So I think she's trying to accuse me and write false reports so that she could target me for this abuse. To say that I'm somehow breaking the tenancy agreement. And then push me out of my own home or something like that on her terms, because she's a homeowner. So her being her word is more important than my word. Because if it wasn't so, they wouldn't be knocking on my door, would they?
They need to follow up any reports to them, so it wouldn't.
Yeah. So the normal protocol is for you to contact me on my landline. So as a customer, I'm still paying you my rent, even if it is the government paying the rent. I'm not in debt. So the polite thing is for my housing association to contact me by my landline or my telephone number that you have before knocking on my door and making me think that something is seriously wrong. But she's taken that extreme, as if I've done something for one piece of speck that the wind has blown, one tiny little bit of speck or dirt that came down from my balcony. which you can't help because it's not properly sealed. The balcony rails are not sealed, so I can't help the wind blowing a tiny little bit of straw or dirt down into her balcony, which is probably a lie. It's highly unlikely that the wind would blow it down there. If anything, it would blow it away from her balcony. So it's falsehood.
I mean, obviously they can only go by the report that they've received.
So what report? Well, they can discuss with me what report, because it's false information. She hasn't spoken to me about it. She's gone and reported me. And it's annoying because I did try and wash the stain off, but the stain remained on. So maybe they saw the stain, but it's still an animal blanket. So washing it still stained it. So they probably saw the stain, but it was before these blankets and covers had gone down onto the floor. This is before it went to the floor. And they were clean. They were brand new blankets. So if they've seen a stain, they should mind their own business and stay out of my way. It's so rude and disrespectful. I don't go and complain about my neighbour's dogs and watch what she's doing on her balcony non-stop. And also, I don't go and look at other people's social media uninvited. I haven't invited her to my social media, where I posted my pet rabbit, which is a tiny little rabbit, which is a Norwegian breed, the dwarf rabbit. And it's not for them, and yet they don't mind their own business. They keep putting their noses on my social media, uninvited. They should go and mind their own business. They're constantly picking at me and judging me wrongly. I'm sick and tired of them. And I'm also sick and tired of those people that came to my door without phoning me. It's totally unreasonable and unfair.
Okay, I'll feed that back to them that you were unhappy that they turned up unannounced.
Yeah, they should announce it. It's not as if I was breaking the law, causing harm to anybody. But they're treating me as if I'm some type of rubbish, as if I'm rubbish.
Okay, I'll get that fed back to them for you.
Can you copy me in what you're going to feed them back? These 2 points. It's a hate crime. They despise me. They despise me. They disrespect me. And they want me out of my own property. They want me to get out.
Okay, I mean, I don't know if that's accurate or not. I don't know. I need to speak.
Well, I know because ever since I moved in here, I heard them gossiping and saying that I don't belong here. They want me to get out. All my neighbours in the block. When I first moved in here, I was unwelcomed, and they're still doing it for 9 years, which brings me to point 3. It's antisocial behaviour, which they're getting away with. And the fact that I'm reporting it today is going to backfire on me, isn't it? They're going to backfire on me and say that they're not antisocial. I've tried everything. I tried to communicate with my neighbours and be reasonable with them, and they wouldn't have any of it. They said I was unemployed, that I was rubbish, and they gossiped against me with a corrupt police officer in the neighbourhood. There's a corrupt police officer and a stalking, spying, disgusting and despicable stalker who is ganging up on me. These are total strangers. I don't know who the hell they are, who the hell they think they are, but they're making hell and trouble for me. Every time. Last time I had my fish tank outside on the balcony, they complained and said the pump was making too much noise. So I had to pay for extra services to exploit me, to bring extra worker to come and bring the fish tank back inside. It was a small little one, the pump. So now I don't have any more fish because I can't take care of them being severely disabled. However, my rabbits are there to exercise in the summer, so they're not caged up all the time. And they're like my nurses and doctors. They help me to exercise. They help me to clean up after them. And and at the same time, she's rubbishing my time in trying to cover up my back from her accusation. I was planning to clean up after them this evening anyway. And then you have the... I did. I said I was going to clean up. I was going to clean up anyway tonight because the weather is cooler now and I'm planning to bring them in anyway. And I said that to them and they scoffed at me and said, oh, well, you should do it sooner. And I said, well, actually, it's my birthday coming up. I can do it. I'm going to change my mind and do it on a Sunday now. I'll do it on a Sunday because I'm going out for a meeting tomorrow and sorting out my important things tomorrow for a change of life. And which I very rarely go out. I'm usually housebound and bedbound because of my disability, severe disability, mobility problems. So my rabbits are like my nurses, and they've actually helped me to mobilise. And so they've discriminated, which brings me to point 3, or point 4. They have discriminated against my disability. I mean, I could, if I'm stressed out, I could have an accident or drop something by accident. And I said that they've got their water there. They've got a bowl of water. If I throw that over the balcony, which I normally put it down the toilet, but sometimes I do throw the water. It's only water. It's not going to hurt anything. And I don't do it on a windy day. If it's a windy day, I put their bowl of water down the toilet. I pour it down the toilet. But why do I have to justify myself to every accusation? That's my point. That's why I'm making a complaint. I shouldn't have to justify to these horrible strangers that obviously don't care about my disability. And I'm hoping that Thrive Homes would show more consideration and compassion. It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't go making complaints on when she's making too much noise and laughing, or when she has her friends and family bring dogs in her house and making too much noise. I don't do that. And yet they go and they make their dogs poo under my window, which makes it stink, and make all types of hostile environment. This is exclusive information as to how I'm being character assassinated. So I told the 2 people today that knocked on my door, did you know that did you? I said to him, did you know that my pets are like my doctors and nurses? That I have been bedbound and housebound. Did you know that? They said no, they didn't know that. So I wanted you to make an exclusive information on my file to make it highlighted that I am severely disabled. A woman who is an independent woman who is severely disabled at this property, please. Can you do that?
Yes, yeah, of course. Okay, was there anything else that you wanted to add before I get it sent?
That the neighbours are treating me as if they're total strangers, which is antisocial behaviour. She didn't even make an effort to talk to me about it. And it's an added burden and an added bad stress, because I then have to make this telephone call to chase them up, to access the complaint file and make sure that they have the correct information, because it's demonizing me. It's demonizing me. It's treating me as if I'm some type of a bad ghost in here, or some type of a bad person that wants to cause trouble. And it's actually the other way around. She's a demon. Because she's abusing my intellect, my intelligence. She's insulting my intelligence, my common sense. She's that's how she's demonizing me. As if I don't have common sense.
Okay, I've got all this down now, and I will get it logged.
Did you mention my disability discrimination?
Yes, I did. Discriminated against disabilities and severely disabled women.
Yeah. Did you mention that they are actually there as my medical or physiotherapy? Those pets are actually registered as a medical physiotherapy along with my GP. I don't want a dog. I just don't want a dog. It could be offered to me under medical grounds, but I don't want a dog. Dogs have a bad smell.
Okay, I've added that to that as well for you.
So it's for medical reasons. They're like my nurses and my physio. And they can't stay. It's cruelty. It's cruelty to animals to expect them to be in a cage all the time. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so I mentioned that, and he was unaware of my disability. I've also mentioned the fact. So he was unaware. Have you put it there permanently in highlighting? Have you done it on my file so that it's permanently highlighted that I'm disabled?
Yes, that's on there, yes.
Okay. How long does it stay there until it expires?
As long as you're a resident, it will stay on your file.
Mm-hmm. Did you add that it? Did you? So he was unaware of that. He also was unaware of the fact that she was adding burdens on me. So he was unaware of the fact that him arriving at my door unannounced, without calling me first to check the information was accurate, it caused me bad stress because I had to then chase you up, find out what the file complaint reference number is regarding my neighbour, and see if they can shut it down, close the file. I mean, why are they monitoring me as if I'm some type of a prisoner in my own home? So I said to him, are you aware of the fact that my neighbour is character assassinating me? It's a character assassination? And he said, no, he said it's not. And I had to insist that actually it is a character assassination. It's something that I would never do, first of all, and second, like throw dirt down my balcony, because I'm not the one who's antisocial. She is. So it's out of my character. So it's an attack on me. He was unaware of that, and he did not agree with me. And second of all, he was unaware of the fact that it was discriminating against my disability.
Okay, I've noted all that, and I'll get that report logged now for you.
So can I just ask you to, as we're going to close, we're going to finish the telephone talk. But before we finish the telephone talk, may I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
Right. If you had a badge or a certificate or certified thing which said you are disabled, severely disabled with severe mobility problems, and then you had somebody in authority confront you and say that you're dirty and you must clean and tidy right now, do it now, would you feel that authority is discriminating against or insulting your intelligence?
I'm sure I didn't mean it to sound like that, but yes, I absolutely understand what you mean.
Yeah, so it insulted my intelligence to say, I have a cleaner, I've booked it for the 18th of October, that they clear my rubbish, And you're insulting my intelligence because you know I cannot pick anything heavy, such as a cat litter for the toilet training of my rabbits. It's a rabbit, it's not a dog, it's not a cat. They pee and poo everywhere. So they insulted my intelligence as if they treated my animal as if it's a cat or a dog. It's not a cat or a dog, it's a rabbit. So it was embarrassing for me to explain that to them. That's how they insulted my intelligence. I had to explain to them that a rabbit is not the same. They have different needs and they have different toilet training needs. So they do it on a pillow or a cushion or a blanket. They don't go into the same corner like a cat or a dog goes into the same corner. And I cannot do a cat litter tray of sand and soot as it's too heavy for me to lift or to bend down like that. Whereas with a blanket or a sheet, I can just scoop it up, their poo and pee, and put it in the bin, dispose of it like that, which is a lot easier for me. So I've explained that and he's accepted it, but it's still embarrassing for me to have to explain that. It's very unusual. They're treating me differently. It's very unusual for me to have to be discriminated against and explain the situation when they should already know that. And I have a feeling that they already do know that currently, but they have chosen to treat me differently. And that's what I mean by insult of intelligence. I'm being treated differently in a negative way. So now I have to call my rabbit that I love a little monster because every time my rabbit does their business, I can get in trouble for it. But they're not a little monster. I love them. Thank you. So it's really difficult for me to try and make people understand.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. No, I'll get them logged and as I said, there'll be logs of the neighbour.
Will you just add one word when you go when you back up or try and back up or reverse into your typing? Are you typing or writing it down?
Typing.
Where you find the word, the first paragraph about politically driven, the bit that we say target, that they're targeting me. Can you add toxic? So it's toxic target. Toxic. So then it would be self-explanatory as they read the other three notes.
No problem at all. I'll get that all done for you now.
That's most kind. Now, will you let me know? So do I just quote for reference? Do I just quote my personal home address, as you don't have a reference number at the moment?
Yeah, it's just your home address, yes.
Do you know? Can you just make sure that my complaint doesn't go to the same people? You know, you said basically they're the ones who are going to be dealing with it, but I'm not happy about Jay, that Indian Jay, and that blonde woman Shauna dealing with it. Can it be someone else, please?
I can put it across to Samantha Whitbread. She's the manager of the team.
Thank you, Samantha Whitbridge. Whitbread. And please say the resolution to this is for them to stop spying on my social media and mind their own and stop spying on me if they're using binoculars. I don't know what they're doing, but they're continually spying on my balcony, which is disgusting and disrespectful and intimidating. I don't do that to my neighbours. I don't watch them with the binoculars or watch their social media. Why can't they mind their business?
Okay, I've added that to it as well, and I'll get it all sent to
So,
Samantha for you.
so you added the resolution.
Yes. Well, I've added to the bottom to stop spying on you on social media and with binoculars.
Yes, that's the resolution. That's the outcome, or that's what I like us to achieve. That she corresponds. My neighbours obviously don't want to talk to me, so it would be Samantha that would talk to them on my behalf. Please,
Okay,
please,
no
because
problem.
obviously I don't want to confront them. I don't want to go and knock on their door and say, "Why did you do that for?" Because she would only start arguing with me and being aggressive or hysterical. So I don't want to knock on their door. And I would very much appreciate if you can say that the resolution is for my housing, to speak to this neighbour who is obviously thriving. She's prospering, or whatever else she's doing. She's got prosperity. When I had a problem with my shower repair, being so much on a granny's one stick, what do you call it? My shower unit is very I can't say it's fragile. What can I say? It's it had been leaking before down, and she's been complaining that she has a new shower which cost her a lot of money. So she is prospering, whereas I'm not. I'm just scraping money here and there to repair my weak shower. Everything's weak. Everything's fallen to bits and pieces. And I find it very intimidating that I can simply not communicate with her to try and be reasonable, that she becomes so hysterical that there was a leak. I mean, I had the police knock on my door to say, why was there a leak? And obviously the floor wasn't sealed properly. And I solicited my shower unit. I paid £1,000 for my solicitor to write to my housing association. That got me nowhere, apparently. I've wasted a lot of money and effort on only to discover to my horror that when you first installed the shower as my housing association, you put a brand new shower on a rotten foundation that wasn't properly sealed. And so, of course, it was totally rotten. The floor was rotten, and then they put a vinyl on top of it, and then they put the shower tray on top of it. And I asked in 2017, why are you doing that? Why are you not sealing it properly? Why are you putting dirt behind the tiles and the wall? And it's the same principle as someone putting dirt under your carpet. And so I've had this problem now with the shower leaking, or it being broken, and I have to keep repairing it from my own private money. So it's exploiting me. Each time my housing association doesn't do a thorough enough repair, I have to patch it up myself from my private money, which is exploiting me. I mean, because I'm unemployed, I can't refurbish the shower myself. And because I'm underoccupied, they've also made a political rule. I'm underoccupied, that means one person lives here, not two. But Andy Davis from your surveying department, the surveyor, has said if I was living with someone, only then they would accept the money from adult care services to refurbish my shower, which is totally unfair and wrong and wicked. That I'm being ill-treated, exploited, and cheated of justice, cheated of my civil rights as a disabled person. And she doesn't give me my religious freedom as a Christian woman. They've also attempted to demoralise me too, which is so disgusting.
Right, okay. I'll get that logged for you. And,
Because every time I have a visitor, if I have a visitor at home, they would attempt to demoralise and demonise and dehumanise me, and all the negative D's in the dictionary. They're watching my every move. Who visits me at home? Treated like a prisoner in my own home. Denied to have proper repairs and proper refurbishment of my bathroom because you've implemented political things. All these things that are accumulated against me, which makes me feel overwhelmed. I mean, I do want to move and I have got plans to move, but not when you tell me, not when your authority tells me, and not when you try and create a crisis or trouble for me to accuse me of breaking my tenancy or me being antisocial or me causing trouble when it's actually the other way around.
I'm going to get Samantha to look into this, and what I'll do is I'll get her to contact you with the outcome.
Yeah, but you know that I've been going through hell for the past 9 years now. That I've explained to you how the professional conduct is unprofessional. That's why I was hoping that you could put your foot down and be very, very obstinate in saying that I really don't want those two people dealing with my complaint.
Yes, yeah, I know. You mentioned that, and it's not going to them; it's going to Samantha.
Oh well, that sort of put a sigh of relief for me, and I apologise to you for sounding a little bit squeaky, a bit emotional. It's not. It's very unusual. It's not conventional. The conversation we're having is very unusual. My circumstances are very unusual, and it's causing me problems that I don't need. It's adding burden and adding bad stress for me to have to justify myself, what I'm doing, who I'm seeing, regarding the repair of my shower. It's constant bullying. That's what it is. It's bullying.
Right, okay, well, we'll get it logged, and I'll get it sent over to Samantha, and we can see what
It's out of control. It's out of control. It's not normal. It's a disorder. And, thank you very much for your help today and listening to me. Can I just take your name because I didn't catch it when I first spoke to you?
Yeah, my name's Siobhan Maguire.
So you're also Siobhan?
I'm also Siobhan, yes.
Like McDonald, Maguire.
No, M-A-G-U-I-R-E.
M-A-G-U-R-E.
Yes.
Siobhan.
I'll get this sent across now, okay?
Yeah, thank you very much, and take care of yourself. Bye-bye now.